streaming live.
Live on location, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Todd Allbaugh here on the road in beautiful Wisconsin Rapids. It is Thursday, the 31st of October, 2024. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite. Happy Halloween. What a day. Mr. Zommer's doing all the work back home high atop State Street, a block off the Capitol Square. How are you, Mr. Zommers?
Doing well on this spooky day. We had some spooky technical difficulties that sorted themselves out.
Well, it kind of evened itself out because a gust of wind came by and nearly took out our camera, but we caught that, so we avoided the spooks before we went on the air. But yeah, some gremlins in the system, but we're all set to go now. Things are well. It's a great day, as we said, to be a Wisconsinite and to spend a little time here in our beautiful station up at Wisconsin Rapids. And is there a big doings on State Street tonight? It's kind of weird being in the middle of the week this year.
I do not know.
Yeah, well, we'll check that out. There's a lot of trick-or-treaters, so we'll check in with Zommers a little bit later. We are very pleased, rather, to be here. We were at the District in downtown Eau Claire last night. Many thanks to Pat Kreitlow and his fantastic wife, Sherry, for coming out last night, along with my brother and sister, my sister and brother-in-law, to check that, and some other fine folks. It was a great time at the District. We took and helped anchor the vice presidential visit to Dane County at the Dane County Coliseum in Madison last night, and getting up early and trucking up to Wisconsin Rapids with me, as they have all week, the co-founder of the Lincoln Project, now president of the union, Mr. Reed Galen, and the senior advisor at Lincoln Project, a Wisconsin boy like myself, Trygve Olsen. Guys, welcome to Wisconsin Rapids.
It was spring, even summer, Todd, when we started this week. And now it is winter. I am cold.
For Reed, who spent a lot of time in his life in Texas, a little chilly.
It is cold. I don't mind cold weather. I mind being cold, and I did not prepare for Wisconsin cold.
But you're in Utah. You're skiing all the time.
It's dry. It's a dry cold.
Oh, it's a dry cold.
It's a dry cold.
All right. But you look natty. You look fantastic.
Well, you know what? Thank you, Todd.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Appreciate it.
Trygve, you're used to this weather. You're a hockey guy, but Trygve's cheating.
I am cheating.
Yeah,
I got my
tough guy with his heated garments.
My heated garments on.
He brought a heated vest.
The key to the cold is planning.
I agree.
I'm a planner.
Layering,
planning. I'm a little disappointed I didn't bring my battery-powered long underwear.
Yeah.
Actually,
nobody needs to know any more about that.
Here's the bottom line.
Yeah.
With the cold, you
Yeah.
got to prepare for the wind.
Right.
And I didn't realize that you were going to be having us here with gale force winds charging across the plains.
Well, it's beautiful. For those watching on the stream, you can see we've got the bus behind us with the signage for the union, of course, and we're going all over. If you would like to sign up for the union, a pro-democracy organization, it's simple, Reed.
Yes, go to jointheunion.us. Guys, we have 4,000 volunteer opportunities. We've got 5 days to go here, gang. Like, we need you. We need you on the phones. We need you on the text. We need you on the doors. It does not matter if you live in a great state like Wisconsin that's a swing state or someplace else. You can get involved. Use the magic and mystery of the internet to get involved, everybody. And we can and will do this on Tuesday.
Absolutely. I know a lot of people were interactive folks are doing canvassing all across Wisconsin. Got more canvassing set today, both here and in Stevens Point. And if you want to stop on down, meet Reed, meet Trygve, myself, and our other folks, Chris Giese, our video technician, who's doing a fantastic job, by the way, on this tour.
Yes.
A great
Chris.
bus driver, Patrick. We're all going to be down at Stevens Point at Goose on Main, 1140 Main Street. Last time we were at Goose, Trygve, you had fans come 2.5, well, I'm not making this up, 2.5 hours from northern Wisconsin to come down and see you. That was fantastic.
Yeah, it's true.
All I had to do was Venmo.
They were very, very nice people.
And Trygve was playing a pull
They could have
tabs.
just called me. I would have set up a Zoom with them.
But come down to Goose tonight and
Trigby
Stevens
loves
Point.
his fans.
Right.
I do love my fans.
Trigby also,
Honestly, you know what? We need to give a huge shout out to whoever the person was that left a nice note on the bus in Main Street.
Yes.
Osseo.
Yes, and Osseo.
I don't remember the name of this particular person, but it really moved us.
She was-
and they listen all the time.
and we don't normally get nice notes.
No,
Oh,
usually
usually
get
we
nasty
get go
grades.
F yourself.
Yeah.
I've got it somewhere. I don't have it in my pocket right
This
now.
is a
but
family
we'll-
show, Trigby.
We'll read the note a little bit later, but yeah, Trigby Olsen, the Don Rickles of political pundits, insults his fans all the time.
Not from our fans, just from other people.
It's an old reference, but so great. Reed gets it. Improving the set here.
I get no respect. Now who am I?
Now that's Rodney.
Yeah.
Yeah, Don Rickles, hockey puck guy. you
I'm
know.
Todd Allbaugh, and you're not.
As soon as we got into town, Trigby Olsen dropped his pants and fired a rocket. But here we are. Anyway, it's great to be here with Melissa Kay, our news director here at Stevens Point at Wisconsin Rapids. You can see the sign behind. It's a WFHR, our music station, and WIRI, our turn that around. WFHR, our talk station, WIRR, our music station. Melissa Kay, how you doing?
Oh, I'm great, Todd. It's great to be here with you.
It's great to have you here. You're dressed up as a pirate. I don't get up to Stevens Point a lot, to Wisconsin Rapids a lot. But when I walked in the door, I said, "Hi, I'm Todd."
Yes, you introduced yourself.
And you're
to me.
like, "Yeah, I'm Melissa Kay."
Like, yeah, we've met many times, Todd.
It's a fantastic costume.
thank you,
For
thank
those
you.
not watching the stream, what are you dressed as?
Jack Sparrow.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
It's a really great costume, and the whole staff here is dressed up.
Oh yeah, we dressed up for Halloween today. You know, it's radio, so we thought we'd dress up because
Right.
it's an audio medium.
It's the theater
Makes
of the mind.
perfect sense. Well, and all of us are a bit of theater buffs. So
So Trigby and Reed and I have been traveling the state. Trigby and I have done this before. This is Trigby, our fourth time, I think, doing one of these tours across
Yep.
Wisconsin. And we like to call it What Makes Wisconsin Great Tour. Because there's a lot of people out there telling us that it should be better and one individual's going to make it a great. We think it's pretty great already. We believe it's the people and the things that bind us together. We're more united than we are divided. And local radio is one of those things, and we're so fortunate to be a part of civic media. And I'm a little biased. I grew up in Richland Center, our home station there, WRCO, WRCE, and I would say WFHR, WIRI is another station that is integral to the community, and that's part of what makes Wisconsin great.
I would agree with that, Todd, and our station has been around for an awfully long time. Pam will be on later to tell you the history of that and our special anniversary coming up here next week. But we talk about this a lot, especially on our morning show, about the things that bring us together versus the things that divide us, because we try to have uplifting radio. You know, I mean, there's enough negativity in the world. Let's talk about the positive things, the good things that happen in our community, and we try to focus on that.
Yeah, and you do. We talk about polls. We spent a lot of time yesterday talking about all the polls. Marquette Law School poll. Trigby and Reed have worked on presidential campaigns. They know the nitty gritty. But let's cut all that away for a second. What are you just hearing as you go to the grocery store? And we've seen people from the community come in your doors every day or last hour here. What's on the minds of folks in the Wisconsin Rapids?
Well, you know, I mean, prices are high. And we all know that, and there's multiple reasons for it, but that is something that all of us can say, yeah, it's not great. It's hard.
Yeah.
The dollar goes not as far as it used to. So that's probably the biggest thing I hear, but more you're hearing conversations about, oh yeah, my son did this in hockey yesterday, and you know, like the camaraderie of just the things that bring us together in the community. There's trick-or-treating all over the area tonight. Everybody's going to be dressed up, going house to house. It's a way to get out, meet your neighbors, have conversations, and you know, and see the cute kids in their cute costumes.
Well, I would like to say, I think her name is Diane. I would like to say thank you to Diane for bringing her oatmeal chocolate chip cookies, which I think I've eaten about 40 of since we've been sitting here. So thank you, Diane.
So you ate mine too. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I ate
Well,
them.
I get them all the time.
Yeah,
so
they were wonderful, but I think it's a good example. I think she brings them every
She
month,
does,
and she
she
brings
does.
the birthdays and all the other announcements to.
we love Diane.
Yeah, to your folks, and I think that's the kind of stuff, Todd, you're talking about. Like you don't get that, you know, someplace that doesn't have those kinds of ties that bind, and I think it's terrific.
Yeah,
Fergie?
and we have our callers in that call in to share with the community of what's going on, and Diane coming in all the time. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, I just think these towns like Wisconsin Rapids or where I grew up in River Falls, right? They, there's lots of things that make Wisconsin an amazing, amazing place. And there's our identity. And I just want to say this. I saw on Twitter today, there's people bagging on A.J. Dillon because he went to the Trump rally yesterday. You know what? A.J. Dillon has a right to go just because he plays for the Packers to the Trump rally. And we can disagree with him, and it doesn't make A.J. Dillon and all he's done for that part of the state a worse person, right? It's his choice that he's making, and he might not fully understand why others feel the other way. In Wisconsin, I just think we have to not let the politics become a contagion in everything people do, because quite frankly, your neighbors don't care how you voted. If your mom's sick, they're going to be bringing you a casserole and being nice to you. And the politicians who are trying to divide are the ones that need to go. You need to, the foundational question you should ask yourself with the presidential campaign is, would you rather have Tim Walz or Kamala Harris as your neighbor, or Donald Trump or J.D. Vance? And answer it that way.
I would not want either J.D. Vance or Donald Trump.
No, because Donald Trump would be trying to move his fence line closer and closer.
He would definitely cut down a tree he didn't like while you were out of town.
Yeah.
He would definitely do that.
Melissa, you're going to be part of our election night coverage, and about a minute left here. Tell us a little bit about the races locally you're going to be watching.
Well, here we have the 3rd Congressional District is one of our
Big
races
race.
here. That's a big race. We also have, because Katrina Shanklin stepped down from the assembly position in the Stevens Point area, so that's another race we're keeping an eye on. And then just kind of overall races, I think I will be writing articles back behind the scenes, kind of helping the team from the backstage, but that's, it's all part of the effort.
Yeah. I want to come back, if you can, stick with us, because you have a brand new show locally that's going to be airing, and, of course, all of our programs, thanks to the Civic Media app. You can download it at your Apple or Android device. It is free. Takes less than a minute. It's what Gail King at CBS calls a deal. The Civic Media app, and you can hear your new show on there, and also at civicmedia.us. And, of course, a great voter guide for you at civicmedia.us. The races here in the Stevens Point and Wisconsin Rapids area, as well as all the races across the state. Our great political editor, Dan Schaefer, has recombobulated, and the recombobulation area has every single assembly, legislative, and Senate race there at civicmedia.us, so you can see all that as well.
May I say thanks to Dan for the follow on Twitter as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm sure he appreciated it back. So all kinds of great things happening here. Stay with us. We're going to have more from our great stations, WFHR and WIRI here in beautiful Wisconsin Rapids. The snow is a little north of us. Trigby has his battery-operated vest. Will he share it with Reed and the rest of us?
He will not.
He will not.
Get cozy, guys.
It's every man for himself.
That's always been Trigby's motto.
We'll come on back live from the Allbaugh Show right here from Wisconsin Rapids on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Do you remember the show, the movie, A Fish Called Wanda?
Oh, yeah.
Right? The central tenet of Buddhism is not every man for himself.
Oh, my God, that's hilarious. Dave from New Berlin asks, why won't they let Todd in the building? What did you do?
That's really funny, actually. They said you can come and visit, but you have to stay.
Right. Yeah. You cannot go in.
You can use the parking lot only because we're not as busy today.
Right. Oh, look at that. Now the flag's waving.
Yeah,
It's a
right?
beautiful
I know, look
shot
at you.
with the flag.
Look at you guys.
And the wind changed a little bit, so it's not aggressively patriotizing me right now.
No, but it's also out of the north, so it's
Right.
much colder.
Well, we have the state of Wisconsin building providing a little block here.
Yeah. We're in the lead.
Good thinking, Trigby. Moved to have the building block the
yes,
wind.
good thinking,
We
Trigby.
almost had no video.
It-
Camera almost
tripped over.
Yes, good
went.
thinking,
What
Trigby.
what do they do in this building?
That is the you know what? I don't even know.
It says
I
it's
want
a
to say
state
it's the
office building.
DMV. I want to
Okay.
say the DMV is in there, and I've never been inside, so
I
I
bet
don't know.
It might be a northern transportation building.
Yeah, the National Guard building is over there. and
Yeah, we
then-
saw a couple of guys driving Humvees.
Are the paper plants still open in Rapids?
No,
They all closed.
the paper mill's closed.
That had to create a pretty bumpy period for Rapids.
It's still bumpy.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't smell like the paper mills are going.
One,
Thank you, Aaron Summers.
one
Yeah,
in Nakusa.
that
That one's still
I
going.
my the first campaign I ever ran was in central Pennsylvania, and one county over, there was a
All right,
paper
15
mill,
seconds.
and it's
All right, here we go.
it's an unforgettable smell. There we go.
On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. The life I love is making music with my friends. And I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again.
Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show, live from Wisconsin Rapids on the Civic Media Radio Network. We are indeed on the road again. For those watching on the stream on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and the like, you can see our great bust here, provided by the great folks at the Union. I haven't really had a chance to read to say it on the air, but thank you for that, because we have a lot of stuff to haul around the state, and without you and your donors at the Union, we'd be in a very small truck. So thanks for helping us out with the
Look, I think it's the
transportation.
least we can do, and I have been lucky enough to be all over most of the target states this fall, and it has not only replenished my soul but reinvigorated my love for the country. Just being in all the towns we've been in this week with y'all, and when I was down in North Carolina, I was up in Pennsylvania, over in Michigan. It's been great, and the thing that you've been talking about, there could be a tour. Yes, it's what makes Wisconsin great. I think it's what makes all of these states great.
Yeah.
And it's always a good reminder too. We are one country. We are 50 states, and every one of them has their personality, their thing, right? That makes them so unique, and makes them all worth visiting. And I'm so lucky that I've been able to do that. So thank you guys for partnering up with us.
Our pleasure, and to all the great folks at the Union. Again, to find out more information, to join the Union, just simply go to jointheunion.us and sign up there. They do great pro-democracy work. And Reed Galen, of course, the president and co-founder of the Lincoln Project. Trygve Olsen, Wisconsin guy like myself, a great hockey player. I found out that the local hockey team, Melissa Kay, also that the radio station here does play-by-play for the
That's
local
right.
hockey team.
We are the home of the River Kings.
How about that? Next time, Trygve, we're back. We'll go to the
We
rink.
could. We should go to a River Kings game.
Absolutely.
Trygve still has the moves. He's still.
No, not really.
But he does.
I might not have ever hit him.
Trygve Olsen, Senior Advisor at Lincoln Project, and Melissa Kay, our local news director here at WFHR. Also, Melissa, you have a brand new program. Tell us about that coming up.
Yes, we have a new show that is launching on November 12th. Fingers crossed. It's going to be called Community Stories. And we're talking with, the first series will be with veterans. So I'll be sharing veteran stories in the area. And then on Thursday, it'll be Community Stories Junior. And we're talking with our students and our young people in the area.
Wow.
I'm following a group of 6th, 7th, and 8th graders at the Nakusa Middle School who are in probably definitely the first in Wisconsin, possibly the first in the nation to have a 1-to-1 3D printer ratio of kids, students to 3D printers right in their classroom. So they're able to design a project, a product, and then the next day they print it. And so they print a product every single day in their class.
See, this is right there. That's why I love going on the road and learning these stories. Because I think too often what we hear about is, there's nothing in these rural areas. Oh, there's nothing there. As a kid who grew up in a town of 5,000 people, to come to a more rural area like this and hear the great public education that these kids are getting and the same technology that's setting them up, whether they want to go right into the workforce, whether they want to go to tech schools, or whether they want to pursue a liberal arts degree at a 4-year school, those public education classes here at Wisconsin Rapids are setting them up for success.
And not only that, but this particular effort by Mr. Benjamin Peters, the tech ed teacher here at the middle school and the high school in Nakusa, by the time these students graduate from high school, they will have a certificate that they can go out and get an engineering job.
Right.
Just
Incredible.
like that.
It's important.
It really is important. Talk a moment about, because we're huge supporters of our veterans here on this program, huge supporters of our military, our men and women in uniform. Give us one or two takeaways from talking to these veterans, because I think it's so important to tell these stories.
Absolutely, Todd. You know, I have had the honor and the privilege of speaking with the veterans that I have so far. Our VFW Post 2534, the Buckley Baldwin Post here in Wisconsin Rapids, are so active in our community. They do so much good, and these stories, guys, they're I just can't wait to share them with our audience, because I am humbled to be able to hear them. And then when I'm spending the time going through and editing, and I'm smiling the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, not the whole time, especially with the kids, I'm smiling. But these stories, some of them are heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what our military members have gone through, what they are dealing with now, but then also the plea to get more people involved in our veterans organizations.
Yeah.
Because that's, you know, they see those names on the rosters at Congress. Those are important. They need to keep those going so that they continue to get the funding. And that's kind of, I think, the resounding message I'm hearing from veterans is, come join us. Come see what it's all about. You don't have to come to every meeting, but we need you to get involved.
Reed and Trigger, we hear stories like this. I mean, that's what it comes down to, right? I mean, and again, to bring back to politics, as people go to the polls here in 5 days, think about we're going to almost lose the 10, but not quite. We have to think about people, you know, in terms
We should go
of,
grab that one.
are we voting for people who are actually going to support what Melissa's talking about?
Right. No, look, I agree. And, you know, I think oftentimes we ask everything of our veterans. And, you know, the truth is, far too often, Todd, we don't treat them nearly as well as we should when they get home. And yes, look, there's the, you know, you see them at the football games and all that, but that's one moment or a couple of hours out of a lifetime, as opposed to, you know, a lot of these men and women are coming home with long-term issues that they're dealing with, whether or not that's, you know, the physical and mental scars of battle, PTSD, whatever the case might be. And, you know, when someone retires from the military, you know, something that's been so impactful in their lives is gone.
Right.
And I think we need to do a better job as a country of making sure that we start to help fill those holes. And I think the kind of stories that Melissa is telling and the VFW guys that are doing the work are exactly the kind of thing that those men and women need.
Yeah, could not agree more. Melissa Kay, thank you for helping us keep the tent held down, literally.
Sure.
About a minute left here. Is there anything we haven't asked you? I want to make sure people know about WFHR, WIRI here in Wisconsin Rapids.
Well, you know, just that we are so focused on community, our local high school sports. We've got our local sports editor now, or our writer of our sports events that happen.
Right.
Locally, Michael Comer, and our new newsletter that's just started to come out. We're only about a month, I think this is our third edition today. So you can sign up for our newsletter at WFHR.com or wiscountry.com right there on the homepage, and have local news and local articles right in your inbox every Thursday at noon.
She gets it done. The news, hosting talk programs, and also helps us hold down the tent. Melissa Kay, you're fantastic. And also a great costume for Halloween. Happy Halloween. And thank you for taking time for us and being such a great host here in Wisconsin Rapids.
Always a pleasure, Todd.
The pleasure is ours. Going to come back and talk more with folks here from WIFHR and WIRI here at Wisconsin Rapids. Going to talk a little bit of politics about the vice president being in Madison last night, and 5 days to go. Make sure you have a plan to be a voter, as Luke Mathers says. We are on the road. Reed, Trigby, Chris, Todd, back after this on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Either that or we gotta take the sail side off.
I think taking the sail off. I think that's the best thing at this point.
Well, yeah, because you want the.
I don't know that repositioning the bus is going to do that much. Do you?
No, because that's not where the wind is coming from.
No.
The wind is going like this.
Yeah. I think we just leave it.
Election could have a short-term impact on trade. Consumers are also spooked by the current economy. Holiday buying might not be as strong this year. We'll talk about it next.
Giving back. It's at the heart of the Wisconsin farmer, and it starts with supporting the backbones of our community. That's why the Wisconsin Soybean Marketing Board invests in soy foam for our firefighters. Soy foam TF1122 is the first and only firefighting foam green screen certified at the gold level. As a PFAS-free firefighting foam, it's safe for you and the environment. A safe future for your community. Thanks to your soy checkoff. Learn more at wisoybean.org.
Katie Burgess along with us, a broker analyst with Everegg. She says the cheese and butter markets might not see amazing lift this holiday season as consumers don't have a favorable outlook on the economy.
From a market perspective, there's just a lot of uncertainty out there. So people have been somewhat ordering, and we hear from customers that demand is fine. But, just given how the economy is, how it is, people are spending a lot more money on a lot of things. Even though food inflation hasn't been as rapid lately, people are still spending money on other parts of their life. And so because of that, it doesn't seem like we're going to have amazing demand here over the holiday season.
Dairy broker Katie Burgess joining us from Everegg. Stick around for a look at our midday commodity prices. I've got those coming up next.
Whether it's finally getting that blue ribbon or enjoying too many carnival rides, we all have memories of the fair. Here's your chance to share those stories in our Everybody Has a Fair Story contest. The Midwest Farm Report is teaming up with the Wisconsin Association of Fairs as they look for the grand champion fair story. Enter the Fair Story contest for a chance to win a cash prize.
Stephen, thanks for commenting and watching. I appreciate it, but Todd does frequently, specify that he's not talking down about voters and about people who are conservative, but about the top of the ticket.
Let's just
and I think if you listen,
get into it with them,
give it a shot, then you will hear that it's not about hatred at all.
The Class 3 milk markets are also mixed. The November contract is up a penny at $20.28 a hundredweight. The December contract is down 15 cents at $19.52 a hundredweight. Don't forget that you can keep following along with us at MidwestFarmReport.com. I'm Stephanie Hoff, wishing you a happy and safe Halloween.
Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
Cloudy and crashing cold as these winds are whipping us, creating some spooky wind chills. Not to mention, a wind advisory has been issued as winds are sustained at 25 miles per hour and gusting up to 40. This is plummeting our temperatures to the freezing mark. I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlau. Currently, it's 57.
It's time to get out the truth about Eric Hovde. Hovde made his money the old-fashioned way. He inherited it. How can he relate or make decisions for us? Now he's the CEO of a billion-dollar bank in California and a huge landlord. With people like Eric Hovde, the rich pay less, and we pay the price. I'm not a political person. I'm a mom. I would never vote for a person like Eric Hovde.
Paid for by a Better Wisconsin Together Action, abwt-action.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
At Civic Media, we encourage active political engagement and remind listeners to think critically about political advertisements you may hear during this critical election year. Our stations are licensed by the FCC and are required to accept all ads for federal candidates. We also air state and local candidates as well as paid ads.
Thank you.
Issue and package.
Testing. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. We are live on location in beautiful Wisconsin Rapids. Yes, we are outside on this happy Halloween. I'm dressed. I'm not. I didn't put a lot of work into it. I'm a rabid Wisconsin Badger fan, and we have our traveling Bucky Badger from our friend Kelly Call, who gave that to us when we were out in California on the road out there. Reed Galen is dressed as a cold Wisconsin Badger fan. Trigby Olson is dressed as a smart Wisconsin Badger fan because he has his battery-operated vest. Jeff Perry, one of our ongoing contributors and regular listeners on the Facebook page, and you can watch us on Facebook as well, says, Todd, the National Weather Service has issued a wind advisory, so be advised.
You don't
there
need to
is
tell
wind.
us.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Appreciate that update. Yes.
And he also says, that comes from our weatherman, Les Humid.
Oh, Les Humid. Yes, very good. He's been with us a long time. We appreciate that for our weatherman, Les Humid. Well, go ahead.
Minnesota. Whatever happened to the weather lady from Minnesota?
Which one?
You used to have this lady on who would do the weather when we first started.
Yeah,
Oh,
Kara.
that was Kira.
Kara.
Yeah. Well, we don't.
We lost Kara.
They don't use that service, so now we have our own weather service. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right.
It would have been nice if they'd have told us that the wind was going to blow over our tent.
It'll be fine. By the way, our show today, as all week, powered by Wonder State Coffee right here on the old desk. You cannot get any better than the great growers at Wonder State. We appreciate having them on earlier this year. One of the few, if not only, solar-powered roastery in the world, giving us great coffee from great farmers, and of course, roasting it in the beautiful driftless region of Viroqua, Wisconsin. We appreciate TJ and all of his great support having us there earlier this week. Wonder State Coffee, wonderstate.com, fueling this great trip.
And the 2025 Roaster of the Year.
Yes, thank you, Reed. Yes, the 2025 Roaster of the Year down there in beautiful Viroqua, Wisconsin.
And on the square.
Yes, and Madison, Wisconsin on the square, and up at beautiful Bayfield. I bet it's windy on Lake Superior today in Bayfield.
Yes.
If we ever do Bayfield on a tour, Todd, it needs to be in the summer.
Right. I totally agree. Trigby Olson, Senior Advisor at the Lincoln Project, Reed Galen, co-founder of the Lincoln Project, and now the President of the Union. Remember, you can join the Union at jointheunion.us, guys. Thanks very much for helping us co-anchor the vice presidential visit to Madison last night at Dane County Coliseum. We were there. We listened to it. You guys have both worked on presidential campaigns. Reed on W. Bush's campaign, also worked for McCain. Trigby on McCain's campaign, amongst others. What was your takeaway from the event in Madison last night?
I thought it was great energy. I thought you could definitely tell that it inspired her, it energized her. That was as upbeat a speech, sort of from a performance perspective, as I've seen her give. And so I thought it was excellent. I thought it was good. I thought she spoke to the things that she wants to do on behalf of the American people, while sprinkling in enough what Donald Trump's going to do if he's back in office and why he's not qualified to do that. And so I thought she did an excellent job. And I think that there are a lot of people, certainly here in Wisconsin. And, if Vice President Harris has to win Milwaukee and Dane County overwhelmingly, I think she's on track to do that.
Trivia?
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at that event, and you saw this in the Marquette poll, right? Like, Democratic enthusiasm is higher than Republican enthusiasm. And so, there's that building was rocking. That isn't to say that the Trump event in Green Bay didn't have energy, but there was a that event was serious, I would say, in terms of what she got up and talked about and sort of the energy in the room. And you kind of had Donald Trump pulling stunts with his garbage man thing. Ironically, for all the self-righteous indignation we're seeing out of people on the right about what Biden saying that, just in the middle of September, and I think he was here in Wisconsin. Donald Trump referred to Harris's supporters as garbage. So
he also referred to the United States yesterday as a garbage can.
Right. So there's an awful lot of to some degree, whether they like it or not, and it makes me sad as a former Republican. The Republican Party has just become this grievance-filled what about. There don't seem to be a lot of ideas coming out at those rallies.
No, and it's unfortunate because
it's sad.
I did a lot of rallies for President Bush over the years, and they were positive.
Right.
Right. I mean, the crowds were fired up. The president was fired up. It was, a lot of it was, immediately post 9/11. So there was a lot of patriotism. I thought there was a lot of patriotism last night at the vice president's rally. I mean, again, if you had told me I'd have heard a USA chant at a Democratic rally, I'm not sure I'd have believed you.
In Madison, Wisconsin.
In Madison, Wisconsin, but I'm glad we saw it.
How do you think, Reed? I've always wanted to ask you this, and I guess I never have. There's a lot of people that you worked with in President Bush's world, and what a lot of you may not know is Reed goes all the way back to Bush world when he was governor of Texas, right?
Yeah.
So he was around it a long time.
And my
There's
dad
a lot
worked-
of people like Matt.
My dad worked for Bush 41.
Right. But there's a lot of people that you worked with. I'm just going to use Matt Schlapp. I'm not picking on Schlapp. But,
No, you should pick
but
on him.
okay, I'll pick on Schlapp. So, like Matt and Mercedes, right? Like, they were all in for Bush. Like, how can you be all in? Were they never really all in for Bush? Or, like, how do these people that were all in, they were all about President Bush and what he was trying to do, now be all in for what Donald Trump is trying to do, is saying he wants to do, and when they really were the antithesis? Like, what?
I think the Trump era has been revelatory. I think it is revealed. And people like the Schlapps, this stuff is a means to an end. Power, money, fame, whatever the case might be. That's all Trump's after. That's all most of the people that I know, and probably a lot of people that you know. They will find anything to do to rationalize their decisions, because any intellectual ability that they might have had in that regard is over now.
Yeah.
Look, going back 9 years, one of my best friends said, well, look, he's the leader of the party, and, he's going to be the nominee, so that's what I'm going to be for. I'm like, but you don't have to. Right? Like, you don't have to do that. But look, I mean, if you worked for Donald Trump when he was in office, you probably did very, very well. And there's going to be the folks who have stuck it out that if he wins again, they're going to do very, very well again.
Yeah.
And again, as we've talked about throughout the week, this is where the party is. And, I don't know that a lot of them ever look. I don't know what the definition of a conservative vision of governance is anymore anyway. Right. But it's certainly, this is not governance. This is power.
Give us a call if you'd like to talk with Reed or Trigby. Have a question for them. 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. Make it easy for you. 855-75-CIVIC. CIVIC. Reed, you and I were driving up here today about when our parents or grandparents went from the old rotary phone to the push button. We can actually spell things out. When you dial like that. So 855-75-CIVIC or 855-752-4842.
Hey, Todd.
Mr. Zomers will answer the phone back home and put you on the air.
I know we have a social media troll. What's that number again if they would like to call in and have a real conversation?
855-752-4842. There you go.
It doesn't take much of a man to sit and, throw spitballs on social media. Call in and let's have a conversation.
I would venture to say that if the gentleman doesn't call, he's the definition of a beta male.
I would say that's probably true. I don't think there's much more beta male.
Things are getting hot in Wisconsin Rapids. Off the text line, a listener on WB.
I didn't know Scott Walker could type.
He doesn't. He has somebody type.
Oh, well, Scott, call in. And honestly, I won't make fun of you. I promise.
I will.
A listener from WBZH, the buzz of the north, up in beautiful Hayward, Paul in Spooner, giving us a weather report in Spooner saying snow has started north of Hayward, meaning fewer kids and more candy for me.
You know what? I like a guy that knows his priorities.
Right?
All right, so you know what? I don't know if Reed ever did this, but so when my daughters used to go trick-or-treating, now they're kind of old, although I think one will. I used to teach them the lesson of what a tax was. I told them every eighth house they had to get milk duds, and they were handing them over when they got back to Dad, and that was taxation without representation.
That's not fair. Let's go to the phone lines. L.A. Tom calling from Los Angeles, California, while guarantee it's warmer than Wisconsin Rapids. L.A. Tom, thanks for calling. What do you got?
Well, I'll tell you this, Scott Walker's still looking for that 250,000 jobs that he promised Wisconsin that he never delivered on, so he's just a loser. Anyway, I know that's where Trigby and I actually agree on something, so that's good.
Absolutely.
Also, I just want to let you guys know the last time that the Dodgers won the World Series, Donald Trump lost the presidency 1 week later. So
there you go.
A good omen in terms of the Dodgers winning last night. And let's definitely get out there, knock doors, do whatever we can to make sure Kamala Harris is our next president, and Joe Tim Walz is our vice president. So and everybody up and down the ballot
Right.
being blue as shit.
Hey, thanks. So, L.A. Tom, I knew you grew up in Wisconsin. Are you a Brewers fan, or did you change over to Dodgers now?
I think I've become a Dodger fan just because when I was growing up, I was more just Packer, and then actually I was a Bulls fan, and then the Bulls became the kind of the Lakers.
Right.
So, but I would like to ask Trigby a question real quick, if I could.
Yep, real quick.
What do you guys think we can do? What do you guys think we can do after this election? Kamala Harris is in the White House to actually overturn Citizens United, get money out of politics. So since since the conservative Supreme Court actually brought us Citizens United, how do we get rid of that? And what do we do together as Democrats and Republicans to do it? I know Democrats have put it up for a vote to get rid of it, and it's never gone through. And I know that they're trying to do it again. H.R. 1, they tried doing it, but they tried doing it again.
Okay, sounds good, Tom. Go ahead, Trigby.
I think repealing Citizens United will take Congress and the president doing it. And it isn't going to happen in the near term because more likely than not, Republicans are going to control the Senate. It's probably, or it could be a 50-50 Senate. But you need 60 votes in the Senate to get something like that through. And quite frankly, there's just too many forces in the short term and important voices, quite frankly, like Russ Feingold, who was not my bag of donuts in terms of his politics, but he and John McCain were a force to try and do that. Without people like that, it's just not going to get through.
I'll extend on what Trigby said. Got to win more elections, more places. And it's got to start at the city level, the county level, the state legislative, state senate level.
855-752-4842. Let's go to Matt listening on WMDX in Madison. Matt in Middleton, what say you?
Hey, Todd, I was wondering what you guys think of this latest stuff from Elon Musk wanting to take control of auditing the federal government, basically slashing it to almost nothing. And they seem to be ready to crater the economy to create a lot of suffering to then further implement Project 25 using the non-existent economy after the deportations to implement that stuff. That's just insane, and they want to run government like a business. What do you guys think of that? Thanks.
So here's what I would say.
1 minute.
Autocrats that I've encountered around the world, most of them rely on kleptocracies.
Right.
And Elon Musk would have no problem with the economy crashing to a degree because it makes things cheaper for him to buy that would ultimately be profitable. Now, who does that hurt? It hurts small people.
Hurts towns like this.
Small towns like this. But if you can drive down the prices of all kinds of things, and you have the benefit of a guy in government who can dictate even to people like Jeff Bezos through fear, then suddenly you're able to buy media properties or businesses for nothing. And, what the Mark Zuckerbergs and the Jeff Bezos need to figure out is Donald Trump. It wouldn't be beyond Elon Musk and Donald Trump to be going to Jeff Bezos and say, hey, you got tax problems. You're going to sell me your shares of Amazon for half of what they're worth.
Yeah.
So.
About 30 seconds left. Anything to add, Reed?
No, I think that's right. I mean, again, Donald Trump doesn't care if individual Americans suffer, nor does Elon Musk. It's, if they have to wreck the economy to make themselves wealthier, that's what they'll do.
And more powerful.
855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. Questions for Reed and Trigby. As our friend and ongoing contributor Matt Flynn likes to say, we see you on the lines. Do not hang up. We've got Mark from Prairie du Sac, also Nancy in Madison on the other side. Also more on our great station locally here at WFHR in beautiful Wisconsin Rapids. It's the Todd Allbaugh Show on the winter tour. We'll have Luge coming up in the next segment. Don't go anywhere. It's the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. Pardon? I'm trying to. We got two more calls. I think maybe what we'll do is, why don't we have Pam come on at the top of the next hour, and then James wants to come on after that. Yeah, we'll see if he makes it. Okay, all right, sounds good.
We should probably talk about the crazy lady's tweet.
Which one is that?
The one down the dial.
Just because we got callers on the phone right now, so.
What did she say?
Oh, she's going off because the Dane County registered turnout in-person voting in Dane County is through the roof today. and she's going crazy that this is being driven by the county clerk sending out a tweet that said people can register and vote in person, and that she's doing GeoTV.
Yes, she is doing GeoTV.
Yes, for everybody.
It is her
job.
That is her job. Yes, but Vicky is now.
Vicky's a moron.
Yeah, well, Vicky is crazy. Vicky's down the dial.
I don't know what that means.
She's competitor. She has this really popular
on another radio
conservative
station
talk
right
radio
now.
station on another radio station right now.
Ugh. Yeah, I think we're good for now.
You're welcome to stay as long as you want, but I...
That's a good one. Today's an anchor day, as my kids call it. Do your kids have those anchor day things? Like, honestly, scheduling for middle school now is so confusing.
Yeah.
I don't know how they keep it straight.
I know.
I'm so nice and toasty now that I have my heated hat on. Oh, my neck is warm.
All right, 25 seconds.
Thank you.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening, a beautiful sight. We're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland.
Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. We're live on location in Wisconsin Rapids, home of our great station up here, WFHR, on the news and talk side, WIRI on the music side. No snow here yet, although in all seriousness, according to our great weather forecasters, there is snow going to be happening up north of here, north of Highway 29, and one of our listeners up there, beautiful Spooner, saying the snow is already starting to fall. So we'll see, Reed. We'll try to get you out of here before the
No,
snow
I'm
falls.
going home to snow, so it's fine. But no, but you know what? It is a good point, though, Todd, which is if you want to avoid cold weather and a long line, get out and vote now. Get that early vote in.
Bada bing, bada boom. That's
Actually,
right.
the lines are through the roof in Madison.
Well, let's talk quickly. People on the phone. Let's go quickly to that, Trigby.
Yeah, so apparently, and down the dial, the crazy lady, who actually, having known her a long time, Vicky didn't used to be that crazy, but she is now tweeting to everyone under the sun, Ron Johnson, Donald Trump, whatever, that the county clerk is trying to get people out to vote.
In Dane County.
In Dane County.
That is her job.
Which is her job. Laura, you talk about trying to make something out of, it's what they do.
Right.
Outrage out of nothing.
There's nothing partisan about saying exercise your constitutional right to vote.
No.
Yes.
But you know, it's funny when in Pennsylvania earlier this fall when we were wearing our Democracy Defender T-shirts for the union, if someone opened the door and they saw the word democracy and they slammed the door in our face or they screamed at us, like we knew who they were voting for. But what does that say, Todd?
Yeah.
That the word democracy sets off half the country and not in a good way.
And our former party, of course, Ronald Reagan would go around the world talking about democracy, about spreading and protecting and defending democracy. Our former party used to bear the torch for democracy, and now it's become a dirty word with mega Republicans.
Yeah. And they represent most of the party, unfortunately.
It's pretty sad. 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. We have Mark in Pernisac. Mark, thanks for holding on. If you can make it quick, go ahead, please, sir.
Yeah, one of the recent mailings I got from Eric Hovde is to destroy the progressive agenda is one of his aims. And it's sad that a man who comes from an agricultural state in California doesn't know what the farm could possibly be in the Farm Bill. And this is kind of a little crude, and I would never use the word, but Ron in Game of Thrones made the comment about Joffrey Baratheon. There is no cure for somebody like Joffrey Baratheon, and he didn't use that word.
Right.
But if you're familiar with the thing, that you can't use that word, but I mean, it just is. There's no cure
Right. Have you got a quick question, Mark?
for being one.
So
No,
I
it
think,
is
Mark,
just,
you'd like Eric Hovde to go jump in a lake?
I'd like him to jump in a volcano and maybe appease the
All right. Well, I want to move on. They got a quick question, Mark, or no?
Sorry.
All right, very good. Lost Mark. All right, well, but yes, OC Eric Hovde, again, knows Orange County much better than Wisconsin. Embarrassing that he said in the debate with
He
Teddy
knows Orange
Baldwin.
County like the back of his hand.
Right.
I used to live in Orange County. I know it like the back of my hand. I don't want him there either. I don't want him here, and I don't want him there.
855-752-4842. Nancy, listening to WMDX.
Nancy hung up, but I did get to
All
talk
right.
to her before that, and she wanted to know, after this election, if Trump loses and eventually the party moves past Trump, what happens to the Republican Party? Does it die off and get replaced? Does it split into two? Is it just terrible forever?
It will take years and years of defeating it in as many places as possible. Defeating Donald Trump is like surviving the car crash. You're in the hospital, you're going to live, but it's a long time till you're back to normal.
I agree with Liz Cheney's statement that she said to her fellow Republicans, Donald Trump will eventually be gone, but the stench of Donald Trump will linger on you for the rest of your lives.
Right. And for all of you erstwhile Republicans, come on over, hang out with us at jointheunion.us. Think of us as political Airbnb. You don't have to live with us forever, but just come hang out.
I love that. 855-752-4842. Karina, listening on WAUK in Milwaukee. Karina, thanks for listening. If you can make it quick, please. Karina, you're on.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I have a question, guys, about the bullet, the bullet points in an election list for us. And I tell you why I'm asking it. Because last time when we had questions about marijuana, legalizing marijuana, I know that the organizations who's advocating for it paid for it, for those questions to be for a population. Now, it's kind of irritating, really, because every time we have something going on in Wisconsin, it feels like a Republican Party puts useless and sneaky questions on the ballot.
For turnout purposes.
And
Yeah.
I would want to know who pays for it.
Who pays for put the turnout questions?
Well, you do.
Yeah.
It's the short answer.
Right.
Taxpayers.
The short answer. We do. How come they doing it just because? Because obviously they're trying to be sneaky. Obviously those questions that the second or third term we're doing it.
It's a great, Karina, we're up against the clock. It's a great question. The short answer is I think Republicans wanted to excite their turnout. We saw that Marquette Law School poll. Democrats have more excitement right now for this election, so they're trying to turn out their base guys.
Yeah, it's not new.
Yeah, not new.
No.
855-752-4842. Gary in central Wisconsin, you literally have 1 minute. What do you got, Gary?
Just thought I needed to get on the air with you today because you're in my hometown right now.
Fantastic, Gary. It's a beautiful place, Wisconsin Rapids.
65 years I've been living in this town. That station you're out in front of right now?
Yes.
It's existed since about 1939.
We're going to talk about that next hour, yes.
Yeah, and so I'd just like to let you know that not everybody who's lived here for 65 years welcomes you to this town.
Well, fantastic.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
That's so kind. Thanks for being a listener. Come on back. More on the other side at WFHR, beautiful Wisconsin Rapids. Read Gary Trigby and more. Join us.
I thought you guys didn't have ballot measures here. Are they legislatively referred?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you could do, I think what Karina's talking about is like local municipalities could do, what do they call them?
Initiatives, referenda.
The referenda, but they're advisory referendums. So what they do is that, well, this isn't binding, but we want to know as your local council or local county, what you think.
Why wouldn't you just go to like a meeting?
Because they want to up the vote. They do this stuff to get people to come out and vote.
It's a waste of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they think it's like only Wisconsin citizens should vote, and it literally already says it.
I know.
And Hilke is a correct pronunciation. Right. Okay. Yep.
This is your hometown radio.
How's it spelled?
Hilke. Hilke. There we are. All right, and give us a sound check, please, Pam.
Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, we could have had a warmer day out here.
I know.
It's like yesterday.
So, station manager is your official title?
Traffic manager.
Traffic manager. All right. 5 minutes.
Both in Nevada tonight. Trump also makes a stop in New Mexico, Harris in Arizona. ABC's Karen Travers has more on Harris's.
So in the Marquette polls,
yep.
Gen X men plus 36 Trump, Gen X women plus 14 Harris.
Interesting. What?
Looks like Melissa is our anchor there, huh?
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
She's absolutely our anchor.
Planning to broadcast outdoors tomorrow, too?
No, I think we're going to be inside tomorrow.
Oh.
Or semi outside. We're going to be at the Milwaukee at the stadium for the Timber Rattlers.
Oh, that's
Hamilton.
right. Yeah.
So like we might be like a skybox thing or whatever. I'm not sure.
That's right. We could have been out at the River Kings hockey place too.
That's fine.
So,
This is great.
So
we got your sign.
This is great. Yeah. We've been here nearly 3 years.
Wow. Thanks, Chris. That looks good.
Are we going to talk a little bit about history?
Yeah. A little bit about the history of the station and it's 80. What is it coming up?
84.
84 years
on election day.
That's awesome. Oh, WFHR.
5% is worth noting because that's a lot bigger than the 1 point separating the two candidates. And how those people make up their minds over the next 6 days. Who to vote for.
Well, it's nice that you could be here in town today.
Well, we appreciate
Yeah, get
being
in here finally. So
right. No, we're trying to go around and spread the love a little bit and promote the stations within Civic, and you guys just do such a great job. So we thought we better come here.
I don't know if anyone pulled in, hearing that we're here, if they pulled in at all to say hi.
Yeah, we've had a couple people honk their horns. That's nice.
Great.
Nobody's flipped us off yet.
Oh.
That we know of.
That's the state building across the street. DMV.
DMV, is it?
Right,
Okay,
right. The Armory's to the back of us.
All right.
The zoo's just up the road, and the middle school about 6 blocks up that way.
Cool. That's awesome.
By the way, we got a text from Dave in New Berlin saying Wisconsin Rapids has a traffic manager. What does she cover? So traffic means a different thing in radio
I'm
than
fine.
it does in the road, just so you know.
But that's a good question. We'll cover that.
That is a good question.
Yeah, when we come back.
Got the beautiful river walk, adjacent to the Wisconsin River.
Yeah.
So.
We have to check that out on the way out of town.
Mm-hmm. Got a lot of trails in this city too. So.
Well, it's beautiful. Central Wisconsin is just beautiful. Right.
We like the warm weather.
I know, we do too.
It was pouring when I left, and I left my coat and umbrella in the car, and just ran out there. Didn't get too wet.
The Lions had 10 players on the injury list, unable to practice. NBA, the Bucks and the Grizzlies tonight in Memphis. The Bucks are 1-3, the Grizzlies 2-3. The Badgers men's basketball team with a 78-62 preseason win over UW River Falls. Great guard.
In terms of the game, obviously we got a long ways to go defensively. That's not new news. We did some good things at times, but as I went to the bench, I thought we got leaky in different areas, and it shows who's more ready than others.
That's Wisconsin's Greg Gard. For Sports, I'm Mike Clement.
Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us.
I'm like, where'd that coming from? It's so trippy. He's watching
It's
some
a comedian.
Oh my gosh.
It's hilarious.
Has been issued. These winds are sustained at 25 miles per hour and gusting up to 40. This is plummeting our temperatures to the freezing mark. I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlau. It's 56 degrees at our studios.
Listen, saving a lot on a comfortable mattress with a lifetime comfort guarantee is easy. Why? Because we make our
I
mattresses
love it. We're getting all these
right
weather
to
reports. This is fantastic.
without the middleman. And voila, you got it. You pass the savings directly onto you every day.
Volume okay for you guys? In your headset?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Thank
Travy, yours okay?
Uh-huh.
Okay, Pam?
Good.
All right. Rock and roll, hour 2. Look at folks watching on the live stream, timber trucks going by.
I know. I saw one in Viroqua the other day, too.
That's why we got the Timber Rattlers where we're going to be tomorrow.
Oh, yeah?
The T-Rats.
The T-Rats, have they call themselves? I love it.
I mean, I don't know if they call themselves that, but I know people call them that.
Oh, now we got a little
At
rain.
least some people.
Yeah.
All right, about 20 seconds.
This is awesome. This is live radio the way
You know what? This is democracy right here. You know what? Democracy has to happen regardless of the weather.
Hey, Chris, if you have time, can you get the towel out? I have a towel in my Pelican case, just so I can put it over my board.
Live from the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Welcome into hour number 2 of the Todd Allbaugh Show, live from Wisconsin Rapids at our beautiful station at WFHR. It is the 31st of October, 2024, Halloween. Happy Halloween. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite here, 5 days away from the election. I have with me on the road my guys, as they say in sports, Reed Galen, the co-founder of the Lincoln Project and president of the union, Trygve Olsen, senior advisor at the Lincoln Project, as my football coach, Ken Thied. On a day like today, we go out and practice, and he'd say, gentlemen, it's a great day for football. Guys, it's a great day for radio.
It's a great day for radio, and you know what? It's a great day for democracy. Neither rain, nor snow, nor wind, no dark of night will prevent us from our appointed rounds and getting out the vote.
Absolutely. Loving it. We got Melissa.
Now you're seeing why Reed is the best right guard in politics.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
You know.
Melissa Kay, our great news director, literally and figuratively being our anchor here, helping
She is our anchor.
hold down the tent. We've got Chris Geezy, our videographer, also doing yeoman's work as a grip as well. He does it all here on the road.
Literally a grip.
Right. We appreciate him being here. And right now we welcome another member of our great staff here at WFHR. She is Pamela Hilke. She is our traffic manager. And Pamela, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be on air here with you, and great to have you in town, too.
It is great to be here, and I love this because, first of all, we're getting weather reports from all over our listeners all over the state. Tiffany in River Falls says it's snowing in River Falls right now. Chris in Janesville says, earlier we played Christmas music. He says, how rude, and then laughing out loud. Lynn in Golden Valley listening says, snow in the Twin Cities right now. The ground is white. Mike in Fond du Lac says, wait a minute, no more Christmas music. One holiday at a time. Let's get through Halloween first. And then this is my favorite one over the break. Dave in New Berlin listening says, I've been there a lot, Wisconsin Rapids.
Ooh.
They have a traffic manager? What does she cover? Maybe I haven't even been to Rapids enough. No, we're not talking about like the traffic report. Tell people what traffic manager in radio means.
In a radio station, the traffic person is the person who makes sure that all the commercials that have been scheduled by our marketing and sales staff, how they get onto the official station logs.
Right.
We've got official logs that run for every radio station, and I take care of making sure the commercials get into the logs get done every day, So the next day we're on the air and we've got all the right commercials running. And
right.
You're one of those great folks, so many of them here at Civic Media, behind the scenes. There's a very few of us that have the privilege of being, behind the microphone. But if it not for folks like you and everybody else off the mic, we would never be on the mic. So you're the ones that really keep this thing going.
That's right, a little bit. No,
Yeah,
there's
no,
a lot
really
of
a lot.
behind
In political advertising, if we have one ad and we want to swap out another, we call it changing traffic.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly.
So-
Right. I manage the copy numbers that get assigned to all the audio for all the commercials for the two stations here, WFHR and WIRI. And so
Well, I'll tell you, being inside the station, I mean, there's so much history and so much heritage there. You have at least 3 members of the Wisconsin Broadcasting Association Hall of Fame.
Yes.
You see, there's a big, you guys, I don't know how many years old it is, but this, multi-page newspaper that shows exactly how the newspaper operated, how the radio station operated. It was very cool.
Yes. Well, thanks. Glad you got a chance to see that. Yes.
Yeah.
And a big birthday here coming up.
Yes, we've got a big anniversary, the 84th anniversary on Election Day.
Oh,
wow.
Happy
November
birthday.
5th, right.
84 years?
Yes.
FHR on the air for 84 years.
They began broadcasting on November 5th, 1940, which
Wow.
was Election Day on 1940.
Wow.
They came on the air at 6:30 p.m. with a debut of different broadcasting, a little bit of music. Then they went into, their news. They were there to start particularly for election reports on 1940 for the residents of Wisconsin Rapids.
And remember, too, that would have been the day that FDR was elected to his 3rd term.
Wow.
Right?
Think of that.
Yeah.
Think of that. But I think it just shows, Pam, the importance of local radio, and that people back then, and probably men, I don't know for sure, but it was probably men that got this together and said, look, we need a local radio station. We need to know the news locally. It's not just nationally. And you folks here at WFHR have kept that tradition now for almost 84 years. That's incredible.
That is. And that person that got this all going, his name was William F. Huffman. Thus, WFH Radio. William
Really?
F.
That's how he got it?
Huffman Radio.
Hey, you know what? If I had a radio station, I'd name it after myself.
Would you?
Yeah, for sure.
Galen on the air?
Yeah, no, I mean well, I guess it would be KGAL.
Yeah, very right. That sounds pretty good, actually.
There you go. Actually, yeah, okay. When I get home, I have to apply for a broadcast
Yeah,
license.
that's right. Reed's new project.
He was the founder of the radio station, also, the owner, and also the publisher of the Wisconsin Rapids Daily Tribune
Right.
at that
Wow.
time. So we were, at the very start, we were co-owned by, Mr. Huffman, who owned the newspaper.
Right, but to have both a local radio station and a local newspaper, right? That
Right,
really cover.
right.
And I was looking at all of the different, not just reporters,
Right.
but different editors the newspaper had
Yes,
back then too.
on that old.
Yeah.
Actually, that was part of my grandmother's collection.
Oh,
of,
really?
Wow.
Newspapers that she had in a scrapbook. And at one point in time, we were doing a little refreshing of some of our offices in our previous building, and I brought that in and said, "Well, I found this. It's from the 1940s. It's it's talking about World War II."
Yeah.
And so we had to have a copy made and have it framed. And
How long have you been with the station, Pam?
I've been with the station for 47 years.
What?
Wow. I had no idea you.
How is that possible when you're 26?
Yeah, I was going to say. Math isn't working out here.
Well, this is my hometown hometown. Grew up and went to school here. Graduated from Lincoln High School. I went to Midstate for a couple years, and there was a real tiny ad for they needed a traffic coordinator at the local radio station, and I needed a job, and I was hired.
Wow.
I was hired by Mr. Jack Gennaro. He was the general manager at the time.
Uh-huh.
And that Chuck is his son. Chuck is one of our engineers and local manager. And I mean, that was a Friday. I started the very next Monday.
Wow.
And I've been doing logs and traffic.
I thought Phil Nee and WRCE was doing well at 38 years. He's just a kid compared to what you've been here. But I mean, talk about for a second. We're talking to Pam Hilke, the traffic manager and one of truly the anchors here at WFHR, a great station in Wisconsin Rapids. What have you seen in your time here at WFHR? You know, the good and the bad. What's different about Rapids today as compared to when you started?
Well, I guess the highlight, I guess, of working here is I've met so many people just working together, and then plus all the people, the listeners around here, the people that appreciate us, and our fans, our loyal listeners that are just. They're always there for us. And,
I think that's guys, I've been in Madison now almost 20 years. You guys have lived in bigger cities. And I think that's sometimes what people in metropolitan areas don't quite realize. Reed, you and I were talking about this during lunch yesterday, that in places like this, and Pam, keep me honest, but growing up in Richland Center, people in Rapids and Richland Center, they rely for school closings,
right,
for road conditions, for obituaries, all this stuff that in larger cities we kind of take for granted. But I mean, the radio station, like our public schools, they become our communities.
Yeah, I mean, I live in a small town in Utah in the mountains, and we have a community radio station, and it's on in our house all day.
Yeah.
Right? We start in the morning, and it runs through the day. And, we have a little bit of an NPR affiliation, but the truth is that the vast majority of the programming is local. Every 30 minutes, right, we do Lost and Found.
Yep.
Right, lost dogs, lost stuff. We live in a ski town. A lot of people lose stuff on lifts.
Yep.
And when they drop it off a lift, Todd, they're not going to find it, but they call it in anyway.
Right.
But it's great. It is part of it is a cornerstone of our town for sure.
Trippy River Falls. Did you have anything similar?
Yeah,
growing up?
WEVR.
Yeah, there you go.
High school football games, Packers. Yeah. I mean, it's really what's great about what civic media is doing, right? Because it's tying both the state and the local communities together. And it's something that's truly missing, that's been missing. And in places like where I'm from, over in River Falls, it's even more important because it's a connection back to Wisconsin because all the media is Twin Cities media.
Right.
I mean, here, right, you probably get Eau Claire, La Crosse, Wausau. I mean, Eau Claire and Wausau TV, right? But where I'm from, it's all Twin Cities TV. So the local radio station was where you got your Wisconsin news.
I live in a state where there's only one media market. Salt Lake City covers the entire state of Utah.
Really? I didn't know that. That's crazy. Pam, talk to us about 2 minutes left here. What have we not asked you, or what have we not talked about that you would like our statewide audience to know about either WFHR or about Wisconsin Rapids, your hometown?
Well, I think it's a wonderful place to live. Like I said, I've lived here all my life. I met my late husband. We worked together for the station for many years. We met on the job, and I just love working here. And I love the job. I guess I wouldn't have stayed so long, but no,
it's a passion.
I love the job. Right.
It's a passion.
And it's fun to meet so many different listeners, and people come up to you and say, "Oh, you work at WFHR, you work at WIRI." Or,
any special events coming up for the anniversary?
We're going to kind of play it low key. We're going to have one of our other longtime people on air, Mr. Terry Stake. We're going to try to have him on.
That'd be great.
Tentatively.
Yeah.
He'll be talking with James and talking about old times. And he was one of the first people that I met when I first started. And he's retired and living in another part of the state, but he's more than happy to chat with James on air and talk about some of the times going back.
Yeah.
So
I got to look at my clock wrong. About one more minute. We asked Melissa this earlier. What do you think the biggest issue or issues are that people are thinking about as they go to the polls in the Rapids area right now?
Oh my goodness, I don't know.
As you go to the grocery store, as you go to wherever on the street, what are people talking about? Like, this is bothering them, or this is what they think is good?
I don't. I'm probably the child care, I guess. I don't know. Maybe child care. Availability or pricing.
And that's something that, we hear about all these big things, national immigration or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, who takes care of our kids? I mean, it's a huge issue. Well, you guys are getting the job done up here. We really appreciate it. Pamela Hilke, our traffic manager at WFHR, celebrating 84 years. Pamela, thank you so very much for what you do.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Well, we appreciate it. Come on back. We got Reed, Trigby, your phone calls and more. We're live from Wisconsin Rapids on the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Hey.
Fantastic. Thank you, Pam. That was amazing.
Thanks,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was great.
All right.
I tell you, the night that Juan Nieves won that no-hitter, I was
you
in one of the local laundromats doing laundry, and I had to take the radio along because, it was like fourth or fifth inning, and this is going good.
Right.
So I'm here at the laundromat listening. It's like I'm ready to scream and yell. It's great, but
pretty cool.
Kind of reserved. We used to be an affiliate and broadcast all those games, and it was a lot of fun to go to the games. And we had the players when they came through the station on their winter tours stop in and talk with us and meet us and go on games. So.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Pam. I really appreciate it. We were talking about that earlier, yeah.
Hopefully I can somehow. Yeah, it wasn't too close to us here. The closest was up here. Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you. Any other live guests? No, I think that's it. Oh, no, James might come back. I mean, I haven't heard if James is coming out after the bottom of the hour or not, but.
How long do we have? I need to go to the bathroom.
We got like a minute and a half, but you go ahead. That's fine.
I can hold down the fort. Don't be an asshole. Pardon my French, sorry.
I love it.
30 seconds.
Thank you.
Well, not as long as you guys have. We go back to McCain together. Almost hard to believe, almost 20 years. And one time, somebody, we were working on something. He and I and Steve Schmidt were working on something. Trigby was sort of hanging around, and somebody goes, "What is that guy doing?" And Steve's like, "Don't worry about what that guy does. You don't need to worry about what he does."
Oh, here we go.
Get along down the road. We got a long, long way to go. Scared to live, scared to die. We ain't perfect, but we try. Get along while we can. Always give love the upper hand. Paint a wall, learn to dance. Call your mom, buy a boat, drink a beer, sing a song, make a friend. Can't we all get along?
Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show, live on location here at Wisconsin Rapids on WFHR Radio, our local station up here. Thanks to Pam Hilke. What a great job she does here with the co-founder of the Lincoln Project, Mr. Reed Galen, now the president of the union, a little Kenny Chesney to bring us back in. I'm a huge Kenny Chesney fan, Reed. It's one of my favorite songs because when you listen to that tune in particular, at the end of the day, we've talked about this, I guess, in the bus, maybe not so much on the air, but after next Tuesday, and it's obviously super important, but I think what happens after Tuesday is going to be equally as important as well, because you guys have talked about this. One of the tenets of a democracy is the losing side has to accept the results.
Correct.
And I know there's a lot of people that are nervous about what's going to come next.
No, and I think they should. I think it's unfortunate, but I don't think we should be naive. I think we talked about this a little bit yesterday, which is, if you go to your polling place, you see something you don't like, you think is maybe off, right? Tell the registrar. If there's local law enforcement, tell them. We met a gentleman in Madison on Monday night who's a poll worker, and he said they've gotten additional training this year to make sure they can recognize if something's going wrong. But I 100% agree, and I think that from my perspective, we need to get through November 5th. We need to have a big win for Kamala Harris. Again, remember, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not going to be a Democrat, right? I am probably a lifelong independent at this point, Todd. But from us, when we hear the words like turn the page, it's not just a matter of Republican, Democrat, left or right. It's really about trying to end this it's hard to believe, decade of just ugliness. Yeah. Really the antithesis of that Kenny Chesney song, right? Which is it's that Kenny Chesney song, we're living it in the minor key, right? It's not about getting along, it's about finding difference. And it sounds naive, but I think, we got to sort of get back to brass tacks, and one thing that I've loved about being out here with you all is, seeing everybody who has worked together, whether or not it's here in the Rapids or in Viroqua or wherever it is we've been. It's been an incredible thing to see folks working together, and here, especially the local radio stations, how much they do for the community, how much they bring everybody together. And I think that it's one of those things that's been a reminder of me. We got a lot of work to do, but from my perspective, if this is the kind of work I get to do, count me in.
Right. It's absolutely true. Trivia, you talked a little bit about what comes after January, well, that too, but after what comes after November 5th. And I know there's a lot of people that are apprehensive about that. I know there's been a lot in the news about that. I think first and foremost, people just have to make sure they're registered and go out and vote. Remember, Wisconsin is a same-day register and vote day. You need a form of legal ID and a proof that you live at the place, like a utility bill. And remember, in Wisconsin, it no longer has to be paper. You have a lot of people have the
and
billing.
If you're a student, you have to have either a Wisconsin driver's license or you have to go get a separate voter student ID.
Right.
You can't just use your student ID.
Correct.
That was an obstacle the state legislature put up because it used to be that if you lived in the dorms and on campus, you only needed your student ID because they know you're obviously registered and you're there, but they've added that. So you have to go and get that document. We learned that when Reed and I were on the campus.
So there you go. That's good information. Mr. Zommers, listen, we got 5. You want to play a little What's Worse, Mr. Zommers? If we get when you get that up, we can play a little What's Worse. We have from the old office. Here we go. What's Worse? Look at that, Zommers.
And of course, the choice is yours. You can get with this or you can get with that. You can get with this or you
Time once again to play What's Worse. There is no prize money involved, no giveaways, only your chance to have your voice heard on statewide radio. Here we go, guys, from the old home office, as they say. What's worse? What's worse? Chicago deep dish pizza or the fact they won't put ketchup on hot dogs? I guess we're talking about Chicagoans here, but what's worse? The Chicago deep dish pizza or the fact that they will not put ketchup on hot dogs? Give us a call. Weigh in 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842.
I don't like ketchup, so.
You don't, so there you go.
Oh,
whoa! We just got a big. What's worse is the wind. That's what's worse.
Right. What's worse, the wind blowing over all your gear or the wind blowing over all your gear?
Could have taken out our video.
Right. 855-752-4842. What's worse, Chicago deep dish pizza or the fact that they will not put ketchup on hot dogs?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Ketchup on hot dogs. I like Chicago deep dish pizza. And that Chicago deep dish pizza we had at the place your sister recommended was fantastic.
And I think you only really need to have it once a year. Like Chicago deep dish pizza, you can't really have it more than that.
I would take New York style pizza over Chicago deep dish pizza.
It really depends on what mood you're in. I like both.
If you're drunk, you definitely.
But you know what? I also like Star Wars and Star Trek. So
me too.
Right? I think that.
No.
Sure, of course, they're two different things.
Yes, you can like both.
Yeah.
Star Trek stinks.
Oh, you know what?
My
you stink.
gosh!
You
Now,
stink on ice.
That's
what you do.
completely controversial.
Right.
Oh God.
Really? All the lessons from Star Trek, Trigby?
You guys are. Yeah.
Bill Shatner, Captain Kirk.
Right, Mr. Spock.
Leonard Nimoy.
I mean,
Leonard Nimoy was a star.
He was.
Leonard Nimoy was a star.
William Shatner's still hanging around.
Yes,
but that isn't what it became. It became all this. Oh God! I would take Planet of the Apes, which I can't stand either. Over
855-752-4842.
You know what? You would have starred in Planet of the Apes.
Gary in Sussex. Gary, we're hanging on to the 10. What's worse, my friend? Go ahead, Gary.
I don't really care either one, but I do like.
Amen, Gary.
Gary wins.
But I do want to make a comment. I'd like to listen to my rant for a second.
All right. Okay. You got 90 seconds, Gary.
All right. I believe that Kamala Harris and the Democrats, if they would have revoked the 25th Amendment and did it maybe 2 weeks before the election now, or maybe 3 or 4 weeks before, she would have won easily because she would have been a sitting president and nobody would have known all her flaws. But as they did it too early, they did not make her the president, and then everybody picked her apart. the Republicans wouldn't have to pick her apart. Look how popular she was right after the convention, you know? So that's what I think. What do you think, Todd?
Well, I'll ask my guess.
Invoking the 25th Amendment is more complicated. You have to have a majority of cabinet members who then deliver a letter to Congress saying they believe the sitting president is incapacitated. The sitting president then has the opportunity to send yet another letter to Congress saying, no, I am not incapacitated. And so here's
the thing. To your point, she got popular fast. It was inevitable that high was going to come down, but she has sat at about 3%. She went up to 5 after the debate, but she's been consistent.
Come on back. We got more from Wisconsin Rapids on Civic Media on the. I think we're up. Yeah, we're up. Sorry, we're out of time.
Sorry, Todd. We don't have time for you tonight. It's like Jimmy Kimmel with Matt Damon.
That's right.
Matt in Richmond Center says ketchup is garbage juice. Tricky
Thank
is
you.
Right. The
I
Cisco
agree.
wants more
Please,
Galaxy.
Aaron, please tell him I agree with him.
I can't hear you,
100%.
Aaron, because I'm having an issue with my heated hat.
You know what? I hope that it doesn't rain on you and you don't get fried.
It's zapping my brain. There's a short in it. I think.
Well, that's a long-standing issue.
Oh my God! All right, Zombers, we'll use that. I'll go ahead. We'll use that comment when we come back. Matt in Richland Center says Trigby. Oops.
I've never liked ketchup. I think ketchup's gross.
It depends.
I don't really like condiments.
Really?
Nah.
Mayo?
No. Oh, mayo's disgusting.
Mayo is just sandwich lube.
It's disgusting.
Did you just say it's sandwich lube?
I don't care for any of
it
that.
makes it so it's not so dry, you know?
I know, but you could. There's so many other things you can
butter.
use. You could use butter. You could use olive oil. You could use avocado if you have avocados available.
Pesto.
Oh, I make a great homemade pesto.
Pesto on a sandwich. Actually,
listen,
you know what?
pesto is
pesto and Swiss cheese on a bagel. It's phenomenal.
Swiss cheese? No.
Yes, you get like you get like an Asiago cheese.
Well,
bagel.
that's Italian.
Yeah, with pesto and
because
Swiss
the pesto
cheese.
already
So good.
has Parmesan in it. So like Swiss would be too sharp compared to
another
the
text.
nuttiness of the pesto.
Listen to
Tom in
the food
LA
man.
says, "Why
I
does
love
everybody
food.
look so uncomfortably cold?" Well, Tom, it's because they're uncomfortably cold.
I'm not uncomfortably cold, Tom. I brought heated gear. So.
I'm not uncomfortably cold, but I am cold.
My issue is my hat for some reason seems to be shorting out, and I just got shocked in the back of my head.
You're kidding. Are you serious?
Felt like it.
You know what? I don't feel bad for you. You've been smarting off about how warm. I'm so warm.
Maybe the
there's
guy
a
about
loose
Beta
wire.
Mills was right.
Look, even Todd put the beanie on. He's
I did. I'm getting.
I bought this. I want to just give a shout out to the bread and butter people across the street where I bought this blue beanie that I'm wearing.
Fantastic.
Do you think it would go viral if I electrocuted myself with my hat?
Do it live.
Yes, I would post it to TikTok. I absolutely would. But we'd laugh before we put it out.
Our beta friend who's was going after us on social media doesn't seem to have.
He didn't want to call in.
He didn't want to call in. He's a keyboard cowboy.
Tom in LA, why does everybody look so uncomfortably cold? Because we are.
Because we're not in Los Angeles.
That's right.
Well,
Ketchup
here's
is
the thing.
gross. What?
I think our beta friend just puts random texts on Facebook and comments because yesterday when he was commenting, it was long before we started talking politics that he said stuff. And it's just irrelevant buzzwords that he comments. So I don't think he's actually watching.
Shimmings just give him a couple of shekels to harass us.
Well, it could be a Russian disinformation.
I was about to say, I think it's a bot.
Yeah.
Well, I blocked him, so.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Blocked him?
He's a beta blocker.
He is a beta blocker.
Aaron is a beta blocker.
Reed brought jokes.
Hey.
Reed's bringing his A game
Who
today.
doesn't like pharmaceutical jokes?
Who knew that Reed was so funny?
I'm very funny.
You are funny, actually.
Yeah, but everybody says.
You're witty. I feel witty.
Oh, so witty.
So witty and pretty and bright.
How about Matt Drudge with the
Nice.
trick or treat with
Yeah,
Trump and the garbage thing? That was the best.
Tom in LA says, "You guys want to look more like alpha males? Then act like the cold's not bothering you."
It's not bothering me in the least, Tom, because I have heated gear because I prepared for this moment. I had a strategy. I went in with it.
That's
I just
funny.
didn't bring enough of my heated gear.
True.
This isn't even cold. If we were on a deer stand, we
windy.
wouldn't even be feeling
Well,
it.
I didn't bring my long underwear, number one. So that
I
would
brought
help.
mine for the football game.
Did you? Well, good for you.
I've never been in a deer stand. I've never hunted for deer. Bird hunting. Done a lot of
That's sacrilege here in
I'm sure. I'd go. I like venison.
Best part about deer hunting is drinking like crazy.
The summer wind came blowing in from
Touche, Aaron,
across the
touche.
sea. It lingered there to touch your hair and walk with me.
The chairman of the board, old Blue Eyes Frank Sinatra, to bring us
That's
back
2 days
in.
in a row we've had Frank.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a big Frank fan. I got no problem with it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh
For a
Show.
lot of vacations.
Yes, live on location here at beautiful Wisconsin Rapids, where they are not summer winds; they are the winds of November came early. Speaking of Gordon Lightfoot, maybe we need to have
Gord's gold.
Yeah, a little record of the Edmund Fitzgerald here. Welcome back to the show. Todd Allbaugh along with Reed Galen, co-founder of the Lincoln Project, president of the Union, and Trygve Olsen, senior advisor at the Lincoln Project. We are here live on location to bring you the show today at the home on WFHR, great legacy radio station, part of Civic Media, celebrating 84 years in 5 days, which just happens to be Election Day as well. Guys, yes, the winds are blowing in. We thank Melissa Kay, who's helping us keep the tent down. Also, Chris Geezy, also our videographer, helping us as well. We're asking the question, what's worse before the break there? What's worse, the fact that our deep dish Chicago pizza or the fact that Chicagoans do not like to put ketchup on their hot dogs?
May I ask who came up with this question?
They don't tell us. They don't tell us. They just send it to us.
You know what?
Who's they? Because I'd like to have a word with them. I just think it's a silly question.
It's a silly question. It is.
If we're frozen, they can just put us in a supply closet and we'll be like Ted Cruz on January 6th.
That's pretty good. Dave in New Berlin says, ketchup is gross. I bet you hate puppies, babies, and baseball. Commie.
Is that what they said about me?
That's what they said about me.
Meanwhile, it's the opposite.
It's gross. I love babies. I love baseball. I love dogs.
Matt, our UPS driver up in beautiful Richland Center, Matt's come out to the show before. We've done this before. Matt says ketchup is garbage juice. Trygve is right, and so is
Reed who's right. I like ketchup.
Reed is right on there. So there's a vote for Reed.
can't have a hot
But
dog
he said
without
Trygve
ketchup.
is right in that the Sith will once more rule the
Oh,
galaxy.
yes,
I see,
yes,
I see.
yes,
All right.
yes, totally.
Roger, listening in Stevens Point, he is listening to WFHI. Well, thank you, Roger.
I hope he's coming to Ghouls tonight.
Yes, he says no
Put ketchup on his curds.
He says no ketchup on hot dogs is worse. Deep dish pizza is the best. Well, there you go. Roger, as Trygve said, come out to Goose tonight at 1140 Main Street in Stevens Point.
On your curds.
We'll have ranch too, or you can eat them plain, whichever you like to do. 6:30 to 7:30 tonight at Goose in Stevens Point. Come on down, as they say on The Price is Right. Dave in New Berlin listening and says Wisconsin Rapids has awesome fireworks on the 4th of July. Haven't missed them since the first time I saw them in 2015.
Oh, cool.
Hotel Mead is lovely. Oh, we should have stayed at Hotel Mead last
Yeah,
night.
because the one we stayed in wasn't so good.
It was fine.
It was better than the Super 8 and Steve.
Trygve's idea of roughing
Yeah,
it is
see,
going.
it's not the Ritz.
Right.
Trygve doesn't want to stay there.
That's not
Exactly.
true. I'm the least elitist
okay.
hotel guy ever.
Trygve's a little high.
Yeah, he's the least elitist, Todd, with all his electric gear.
Right. Exactly right. right. What else we got here off the text line? Listening in Wisconsin Rapids here. Laura in Wisconsin Rapids on WFHR says the polka show is what I love about FHR. You can only find polka shows on local radio anymore, and WFHR has a great one. Shout out to Tim Humboldt, the polka guy. Is that right, Melissa?
Hey,
all right,
polka guy.
Hey, look at that. We got a polka guy in town.
Yeah, listen. I mean, where I went to college, we down the road we had a place called New Braunfels, and they had Wurst Fest, and it was the 10-day salute to sausage. And so you just went, and it was the chicken dance and polka, beer, and sausage. It was the greatest.
Sounds like the last time I visited Boys Town in Chicago, but anyway.
I was going to say.
Go ahead, drink beer.
I was going to say. Sounds like a Donald Trump rally. A salute to sausage.
Okay, very
good.
In case it's a potpourri, the next half hour, anything goes. 855-752-4842.
Let's talk about something important here.
4842. All right, let's talk about something important.
Dan Schaefer.
Dan Schaefer, our political editor here at Civic Media and of the recombobulation area.
And generally a great guy.
Great guy. His birthday
guy you
is
would want to drink beer and eat curds with.
Yes.
He parsed through the Marquette poll. Generation X, of which Reed and I often talk about the fact that we are Gen Xers.
As is Todd.
Is Todd. Generation X in Wisconsin, amongst men, Donald Trump is winning with 36%. Amongst women, Gen X women, he is losing by 23%. I think I have those numbers.
He's
right.
winning.
I might not have
He's winning Gen X men by 36.
He's winning Gen X men
by 36.
Now, this is the thing. If you are the daughter of a Gen X guy here in Wisconsin, you need to have a heart-to-heart with your dad. Because I guarantee you, Gen X girl dads, of which Reed and I are, Todd is not.
Or if you're the wife of a Gen X dad who has
But
daughters.
particularly if you're the daughter. If you're the wife, you need to talk to the daughter.
But I think the moms are listening. The daughters
Yeah,
are
the moms are probably listening. But you need to talk to your daughters, and you need to have them talk to dad.
I like to know my audience.
And they need to say to dad, you have always been my protector. You have taught me the value of integrity, Dad. And you don't want... One of the things you taught me is, whether it's true or not, you don't want government telling you what kind of shotgun you can own, or that you have to wear a seatbelt, or that you have to have a catalytic converter on your pickup truck. Those are all...
No, I know. I'm just...
Right. Any of those things, you have to say that to them, and then you have to say, Dad, we need to have an honest conversation because you, by supporting Trump, are not protecting me, and you're not demonstrating the integrity by voting for a man who says what Donald Trump said yesterday about women.
Right.
But the daughters need to start the conversations, and then, for the moms who are listening, it's time to do your thing and say to them, sort of like my wife does to me, my daughters tell me I need to go in for my annual physical. And then my wife said, when I go to her and say, the girls think I need to have a physical, she says, well, of course you do.
Right.
That is what needs to happen. And I'm telling you, the MAGAs are afraid of that.
That's a really great point. And Zommers, forgive me with the wind and stuff here. I'm not sure. Did I send you that clip that Liz Cheney tweeted out? And I think this is that goofball Charlie Kirk or somebody like that talking to Megyn Kelly. Do you have that clip, Zommers?
No, but I can find it.
All right, no worries. I thought.
Or you could get Jesse Waters saying he would divorce his wife if she voted for Harris.
Right.
Like, nice
No. It was worse than that. He said if his wife voted for Kamala Harris, it would be like she was having an affair.
Yes.
Right.
The irony of that, of course, is that this is his second wife with whom he had an affair before he married her and divorced his first wife.
Great guy.
And the point is here that they don't let up, these MAGA folks do. Trump doesn't. It's that in 2024, we have people that believe that the husband, the boyfriend, whoever, should control and tell the women in their lives how to vote.
Let's see how that'd go over in my house.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go very good in mine either.
No. 855-752-4842. Let's go to Dick listening in Madison on WMDX. Dick, thanks for calling in. What say you?
Well, I just finished reading something about how long this is going to take to sort out because of all the crazy election laws across the country and some other stuff that has been enacted since 2020, unless it is a blowout one way or the other. Along with the Electoral College, it should go by the way of the dodo bird. We've got to address the fact this is a federal election, correct? When you vote for the United States Senate, the House of Representatives, or President. How about having, this is a novel idea, a federal law so that we don't have 50 different ways of looking at it? This is ridiculous, letting each state have their own little stupid way of going about a federal election.
Yeah. Thanks, Dick. Appreciate it.
Actually, is in the Constitution.
Yeah, it's
So
constitutional, and states were allotted the right to execute
Determine how.
elections.
Yeah.
I
I wish my personal belief is at this point in time, I wish we had a popular vote election, but the fact is we don't.
Well, look, I think that's one thing that is really unsatisfying. Is at this moment, these are the rules of the game.
Right.
If you want to win, you have to win under the rules of the game. If you win enough, Todd, by the rules of the game, then you will be able to change the rules.
Right.
But until and unless you do that, this is where we are.
This is the thing. If you had a national popular vote, you wouldn't be seeing Kamala Harris going to Appleton tomorrow. You wouldn't see Donald Trump coming to Wisconsin. I say this often. Democracy is on the line. I truly believe that from my work around the world in this election. And I say that as a conservative.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the good thing, and this is what I hold hope to. The people who are going to decide this election are the people that we're talking to all across the state of Wisconsin. It's my drinking buddies who are coming to the Packer game with us on Sunday. The people of Wisconsin who are going to decide this, if somebody has to decide the fate of democracy, I'm glad it's people in places like Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, because if you had a national popular vote, all that time would be spent in big population centers like L.A., Chicago, New York. And the reality is, I get that the process seems stupid because, and if you're a Democrat, I get why you don't like it because you've won the popular vote and lost the Electoral College for the last 6 years. But the reality is, it does create a circumstance where the candidates are forced to actually talk to people who take that responsibility seriously, at least a lot of them.
855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. Let's go to Stoughton in beautiful Dane County. CJ, listening in Stoughton. CJ, what say you?
Thanks for taking my call, Todd. And gentlemen, as I hear you talk about the threat to democracy and President Trump poses, he's not the one that's in court fighting to keep 1,600 illegals on the voting rolls. And when I hear, I'm the father of 4 beautiful, healthy daughters, amen. But when I hear you talk about how you want your daughters to vote, I guess I've been frustrated with this topic. I've evolved. I actually called Robin Voss's office and was frustrated that the Republicans hadn't done anything. Well, their staff told me that they offered, Voss and the Republicans offered Governor Evers 15 weeks with exceptions of rape and incest, the health of the mother and the child. So the fact that you folks, your party doesn't acknowledge that it's gone to the states, it's been tried to be resolved, but your party sees it as a political issue. So you don't want a resolution on abortion. You want no limit.
Thanks, CJ. Appreciate the call.
First of all, CJ,
none of us are Democrat, belong to the Democratic Party. We're all independent now.
Okay,
But go ahead.
let me answer 2 of those things. One, I live in Virginia, and there are people that have been taken off the rolls who have passports. Now they can go back and re-register, but and that was part of the case that was being made, is that there were people this close to an election who were being removed from the rolls who had the right to vote. I would argue that on questions like that, particularly this close to an election, we should err on the side of caution to make sure that we're not disenfranchising people that have the right to vote.
Right.
I have nothing against taking people off the rolls that don't have the right to vote. As for the question of abortion,
1 minute.
In Mississippi, which has far more restrictive rules to abortion, and this is the problem with the national sort of having every state decide. It's the same argument that was made over slavery, quite frankly, that J.D. Vance made during the debate, that every state should be able to have that determination. The problem with that is you have a 13-year-old girl in Mississippi who in the last 5 to 8 days was a victim of rape, had to deliver the child because she couldn't get an abortion. That is an anathema. And the argument that's being had about states' rights and putting it back to the states is an old argument in the United States. It goes back actually to slavery. So, but I'm glad that you reached out to Robin Voss. I think that's good, CJ. And if Tony Evers and Robin Voss need to sit down and hash out something that people can live with if this is the environment, but having 50 states each make their determination is a recipe for chaos and is a recipe for places like Oklahoma to try and ban birth control.
Yeah. 10 seconds.
Remember that it was in 1973 when Roe v. Wade was decided, even the Southern evangelical groups and leadership thought it was a good decision for everyone. It wasn't until the late 70s when they needed something to supercharge their base that they decided to go pro-life.
Back with more Melissa Kay and more of our great FHR team here. We're live in Wisconsin Rapids on the Civic Media Radio Network.
I mean, it's ironic.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome. Are you really? That's fantastic. And how do you pronounce your last name, Beth?
Habhager.
Say again?
Habhager.
Habhager, okay.
Pronounce all of the letters.
All right, and the emphasis is on the first part, Habhager. All right.
Yeah,
Let me turn your mic on here. 1 second. All right, go ahead. Test it. Do it.
Test. Can you hear me?
I can't. Why can't I hear you? 1 second. Let's try it again. All right, test 1, 2. Test 1, 2.
That's all.
Testing 1, 2. Test 1, 2.
Huh? I don't think
That's weird. Did something get unplugged? I might have got water in it. I don't know what happened.
Here, you want to come use this one?
Yeah, why don't
come
you
sit
switch
with,
out?
yeah,
Yeah.
come take.
Sorry.
I mean, it must be working somewhat because I heard it get set down.
Oh, that was Reed's, I think. Oh, here. That was working. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2.
Yeah.
All right, Reed is working. If you want to sit here, Reed, you can. It's working now. I don't know what's going on.
That one's going to fit my head better.
All right. Is it? All right. Let's go back. Sorry.
Big mouth, small head, right?
All right. It's all good.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah, maybe there's water in this thing. I don't know.
Hopefully not. Anyway, we got 30 seconds.
All right, here we go. 30 seconds.
A little chilly there, Reed?
Reed's warming up. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show, live on location in Wisconsin Rapids, here on the What Makes Wisconsin Great Tour. We have Reed Galen, co-founder of the Lincoln Project, president of the union, Trygve Olson, senior advisor at the Lincoln Project as well. Going to bring on one of our other staff members from WFHR in a minute. But first of all, quickly, let's go back to the phone lines. Wisco Paul, you wanted to call in. Wisco, go ahead quickly, please.
Hey, good afternoon, Todd. Great show today. But all your shows are good. And,
Too kind, thank you.
Civic media. Oh, well, civic media is awesome because local radio statewide that's where it's at. And I'd like to thank your guests also today. Hey, I just want to say I'm cautiously optimistic. I forget who just said it on your show. I don't think Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin are going to let Trump be president again. At least I hope not. So, hey, great show. Thanks.
Hey,
Bye.
appreciate it, Wisco. Thanks so much for being a long-time listener. And yeah, it was both Reed and Trigby have said that if, particularly Trigby, if this election has to be decided by people in Wisconsin, we have a lot of faith in that. So get back to them in just a second. But first of all, I want to bring on one of our other great personalities here, our on-air personalities at WFHR, wearing a great costume. Dead end is what the costume says. Beth Habinger, we appreciate you being here. Beth, tell us your role here at WFHR.
So I'm an on-air personality on WIRI, the countryside. I go by the acronym. There we go. I go by Dottie B over there.
Okay.
And then I also host on WFHR the show within the show on Monday mornings called The Kitchen's Open.
I've heard the Kitchen Opens before. Great show. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's an award-winning show. It got a WBA award last year. Melissa and I kind of came up with this idea about 2 years ago because we were on the morning show a couple of times, and every time we seemed to be on the morning show, we'd start talking about food and cooking, which is a second love of mine. So I said, what if we do a little segment that would have some jokes, some comedy, and some information as well. So that just kind of took off, and it keeps going. And as I came on board with the station, I took that over from Melissa, who had it for a good year and a half.
Right.
And she did a phenomenal job getting it up and off the ground. Obviously, it won an award, so it must be pretty good.
A fantastic show. People can hear it at civicmedia.us and wherever you get your podcast as well.
Yes.
It's fascinating. You said as we came on the air, I didn't know that you're also a local pastor in town.
I am. I'm a pastor in the Moravian Church, which is a very small denomination.
Sure. Tell us what you're hearing from your congregants. Lots have been made about faith in this election. What's on people's minds in terms of people who are faith people?
Well, it's hard because there are so many issues there, and faith is such an individual thing. And our denomination does not have any official stance except against Christian nationalism. So we really preach that you need to pray, discern, and think about, what does your faith tell you is the right, and which of the candidates is really going to live that out.
Right. It's an important thing. We appreciate everything you're doing in your community here. Tell us a little bit more about the program. What are the things? How long have you been with FHR?
Actually,
IRI?
I just started at the beginning of September.
Well, that's great. That's great. We have somebody who's been here for 40-some years, and somebody who's been here for 4 months. Or
yeah,
whatever,
I'm the newest to the station right now. So
we're so happy to have you be part of our civic media family. And again, it's what these great programs, like you said, Melissa had this great award-winning program, The Kitchen's Open, focusing on local issues. It's so important to these communities.
Absolutely. And we love just being here for the community and doing some special things. And this year we decided to come up with a new Halloween opportunity.
Nice.
So we have 2 hours that we do in the afternoon from 4 to 6. And with it being Halloween and trick-or-treating, we decided let's have something on air for moms and dads and the families as they're driving around. Today probably driving more than walking because of the wind and the cold. And so we each took a turn reading some stories or poems, and there's going to be some great Halloween music. So for 2 hours, you get to just enjoy the season.
Well, it's great, and I know a lot of activities happening here in Wisconsin Rapids tonight. People going on trick-or-treating. So everybody across the state, slow down a little bit starting this afternoon. Watch out for those trick-or-treaters because not all of them are watching the streets because they dart out for that candy.
That's true.
So be careful out there on the streets tonight, and thanks for all you're doing here at FHR IRI. Really appreciate you.
It's a joy to be a part of it.
Beth, thank you very much for stopping by. We appreciate
Thank you.
My pleasure. Rita, I want to turn to you. I know you're getting on a plane tomorrow. You've been with us most of the week. You got other things to do, so I want to give you a couple of minutes here just to say what you want to say to close out the show.
No, and thanks, Todd, and thanks, Trigby, and thanks to everybody here in the Rapids. It's been just an incredible week, and really want to say thank you to you guys and to Sage and everyone else. It's been, as I said, I love being out on the road, and as I said, guys, this race, we're beyond television ads at this point. We're beyond a lot of that stuff, or even beyond digital ads. This is now going to be one on the ground, in the neighborhoods, in the streets, where folks are going to make the choice, right, individually. And I hope that everybody who's listening, who has the opportunity to cast their ballot, does so. You can go to your local registrar. You can go to the Secretary of State's office and find out. If you're not registered, get registered. If you have, if you haven't voted, get out there and do it early. And if not, make that plan to vote on Election Day. And I hope everybody, again, will go to jointheunion.us and get involved. And if I can make a plug,
yes,
check out the Homefront, my podcast. It's 3 times a week. Check it out. Have lots of great guests. You won't always know that they're famous, but they are the best at what they do in the pro-democracy movement. And Todd, I want to say thank you to you. You have an incredible program. You do an incredible job here, and I think the people of Wisconsin are lucky to have you.
Well, you're too kind, and it's only great because of folks like you and Trigby and Beth and all the people that make this show go, and Zommers and Geezy and our great listeners and viewers as well. One of the people that I know you worked with in Bush World for a long time, Karen Hughes, she has a great book, if you've never read it, called 10 Minutes from Normal. And one of my best lines in that book is when she says, every election comes down to a choice, and perfect's not on the ballot.
Amen to that.
And I think that everybody, if we're looking for a perfect candidate, we're never going to find it. But everybody has a constitutional right, particularly those people who died to give us this right, to go out and vote.
Amen.
Reed Galen, thank you so much. JoinTheUnion.us. Trigby Olson, thank you. Trigby's sticking around. He's got his warm gear for tomorrow. We'll be in Appleton at the home of the Timber Rattlers at Fox City Stadium. So Trigby, thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
He's texted right now.
No, I'm not.
He's really enthused to be here.
My batteries ran out.
Todd, I don't know what you're going to do when it's just the two of you.
Thanks to everybody here at FHR. We love you. Whatever you're fighting for, whatever you believe in, keep banging your drum. Maggie Donis next to you tomorrow.
Got it all in.
All right, we got it all in. Thanks, everybody.